Well, this is the 11th game. They should be better than they were when they started, and they've improved dramatically since the beginning of the season. I think really they believe very strongly in what Mike has brought to this football team, and I think they're at a stage right now where they won the last 2 games, and I think they're at a stage where they feel they can beat anybody at this time of the season.
Well, the Bucs are 4-7. They beat the Packers 31-3 in week 2, but Hank, they're on a slide now, having lost 6 out of 7. How can Sam Weiss turn it around?
Sam's a good salesman, and it's a selling job that he has to do, and I think he'll do a very good job of that. Talking to all the players, I think they believe very strongly in what's happening in Tampa Bay, and as a result, I look for them to play an extremely good game this afternoon, especially if Vinny Testaverde can get off to a good start and get hot in this game.
It is 34 degrees with a wind chill factor of 13 degrees. Cloudy and cool is the forecast, and the temperature is important because, take notice, Tampa Bay has never won when the temperature drops below 40 degrees in a game. And according to Rick Odioso of the Tampa Bay staff, that's 12 games in franchise history. 12 games under 40 degrees, never a win. This is George Thomas, just signed this week, and look at him take the opening kick. George Thomas to the 47-yard line. The former Falcon signed this week with great speed. They called him Heat in Atlanta, and he broke free for 38 yards, Hank, on the opening kickoff.
Well, the great thing about it is, see, he's very decisive. He makes the catch. It's obviously a middle return. He starts and sees the big hole up the middle. He's very decisive in what he does with regard to the decisions, and makes a big return on his play.
That's a role he never had a chance to fulfill with the Falcons because Deion Sanders was their kick returner. Play action fake on first down. Pressure by Brock on Testaverde. He goes back to the other side and hits Ron Hall for a loss. Leroy Butler on the tackle, but a loss of about 3 yards. Vinny had a career game the first time out against the Packers. He was fighting the flu that day and went 22 of 25. Couple of touchdowns and ran for 1 also. Here's his offensive line. Paul Gruber, who is from the University of Wisconsin, grew up here. Reimers, Mayberry, Beckles, and McRae on the front. Reggie Cobb, 178 yards from 1,000, with McDowell in the backfield. Dawsey and Carrier, the receivers. 2nd down and 13. Here is Cobb. Noble on the hit at the 50. Gain of 7. Tony Bennett of the Packers leads the way with 10.5 sacks. He's having a Pro Bowl season now out of Ole Miss, former #1 pick. And for Green Bay on the defensive line, Brock and Yurkovich and Robert Brown in his 104th straight start. Kuntz, Noble, Johnny Holland, and Tony Bennett are the linebackers. Terrell Buckley with Roman Mitchell on the corners. Butler and Cecil the safeties. 3rd and 6 from the shotgun, Tampa Bay. Across the middle, intercepted. It's Mitchell. Mitchell will run it back inside the 30, and Testaverde on the tackle at the 20. Roland Mitchell with only the 4th interception of the year by the secondary at Green Bay. And he ran it back 38 yards all the way to the Bucs 22.
Here we see Testaverde back in a pocket. The protection is good. A crossing pattern right over the middle. It's a little bit behind the receiver. It hits him on the shoulder pad, and as a result, the old tipping drill goes into effect. Mitchell makes the interception and brings it back down with good field position for the Green Bay Packers.
Again for Mitchell, 6th-year player from Texas Tech, his 1st interception of the season, and again only the 4th for the Green Bay secondary this year. Pass was intended for Dawsey, who was hit on contact by Cecil. Deflected the ball to Mitchell for the INT. Now Green Bay with Brett Favre at quarterback and 2 tight ends running the football with Edgar Bennett, a rookie from Florida State, gains 3. Marty Carter on the tackle. Brett Favre is the youngest NFL starting quarterback at age 23. Has thrown 11 touchdowns against only 8 interceptions. His offensive line has Rutgers on the left side with Winters. Campen snaps it to him. Hallstrom and Robbins on the right side. And Jackie Harris has been a favorite target of late. Bennett rushed for over 100 yards last week in his first NFL start. Sidney in the backfield with him. Sterling Sharp is the NFL's leading receiver, and Ron Lewis is on the other side. His first NFL start today. 2nd and 7, and Favre flings it too high for Jackie Harris. Harris has caught 24 passes in the last 4 games, including 9 against the New York Giants. Now Tampa Bay on defense. Rookie Santana Dotson with 9 sacks and a candidate for Defensive Rookie of the Year on the line with Chambly in his first NFL start. Wheeler, Dotson on that line. And the rest of the secondary, Reynolds, Mack, Fullington, and Carter. Linebacking core, Jimmy Williams, Broderick Thomas, and Derek Brownlow's first NFL start. 3rd and 7. Harry Sidney breaking outside and short of the first. Keith McCants on the tackle. McCants, one of the linebackers that I failed to mention. David Grant has been signed this week. We'll see him some today.
You know, Jim, that play was a counter tray, the old counter tray that the Washington Redskins have made famous. The right tackle and the right guard, Hallstrom and Robbins, were pulling to their left on the play. Sidney tried to go, was supposed to go off tackle, but Sidney jumped outside, went sideways, and didn't get the yardage for the first down.
34-yard field goal attempt coming from Chris Jackie, who is 70% on the season. Impressive long-range leg. He's 2 for 2 over 50 yards. This is a chip shot for him, and he drills it. Football went through kind of sideways instead of end over end, but it's 3-0 Green Bay, set up by the interception of Mitchell. Hank, how did the Bucs feel after this first part of the game, giving up the interception but yielding only a field goal?
Well, I think, first of all, they have to feel good about the fact the way they moved the ball. They had good field position. They were moving nicely, and the pass was just a little bit behind Dawsey. He hit his shoulder pad and bounced out. He got hit about the same time. But I think they've got to feel good about the fact they can move the ball again.
Here's Courtney Hawkins on the run back, and he's near the 30. Burnell Dent on the tackle. Green Bay, the only team in the league with 2 homes. They play 5 games at Lambeau Field, 3 here at County Stadium, and this is the first Green Bay non-sellout since 1988. They were about 1,000 short of sellout. They first started playing down here in 1933, trying to drum up some support south of Green Bay. But their winning percentage is better at County Stadium than it is at Lambeau Field since 1970. And Curly Lambeau and his Packers of 39 won the championship here in Milwaukee, in fact, in 39. And then the Western Division game with the Green Bay eventual Super Bowl champions. They won here for advancing home to play in the Ice Bowl, the Dallas Cowboys.
The offense. 5-yard penalty. First down.
There's Sam Weish in his first year with the Buccaneers. He led Cincinnati to the Super Bowl in the '88 season, only to lose to the 49ers in the last minute, 20-16.
I think they stopped the last time they had a problem. There were 7 men on the line of scrimmage, and they were not sure what they had to do. As a result, they called a timeout to get things straightened out. That's Cobb hit by Noble, and Tampa Bay in the hurry-up offense. No huddle offense. Trademark Sam Weish started it with the Bengals. 2nd down and 14. And that could be a problem this afternoon, especially for Green Bay, because they're both on the same side of the field. We'll talk about that as we go along, Jim. Set up the screen for Cobb, and Johnny Holland was there to greet him along with Brian Noble. See, that was man-for-man coverage, it looked like, Jim, and as a result, Noble was on the back, and it's tough to throw a screen pass against a blitzing man-for-man kind of a play unless you break it clean. Then it could be a big play, but I think most of the time it's better to throw screens against zone defense. 3rd and 14, 4 receivers in.
Testaverde has the first. And was he down? He was ruled down. He fumbled after the play was over. I think he has the first by a half yard. I gave it to him a little early maybe, but let's see where they mark it. I think he has the first.
Oh, I don't think there's any question. Of course, the big thing is where they're going to mark it.
Yep. They don't even have to measure for it. First down, Tampa Bay. 14-yard run for Testaverde.
And here again, that's something that he does a lot better than people think he can do. He's tall and lanky, and as a result, doesn't look like he's running as fast as he actually is. But look, he goes into the pocket, sees the cavity, and takes off and runs with the football, and knows where the marker is to get the first down, and got just enough for the first down to move the chains.
Ty J. Armstrong has come in, a second tight end with Hall as they go outside with Cobb. Cobb brushes off a couple tacklers and gets near the 50. Ian Beckles with a good block to set up Cobb, who, well, he could even get 1,000 yards today with a 178-yard effort, which would be a career high, but likely to make a run at it next week.
And he's really a good running back. I'm more impressed with him. Every time I see him, I'm more impressed with him than I was the last time I saw him play.
Second down and 1. There he is. Cobb has the first down and good yardage to the 42. That's a run of about 8 yards.
I mentioned this last week, Jim, and I'll mention it again because it's a very good quality that he has. You never see Cobb get hit and never fall backwards. He's always falling forwards, knocking the pile back. Good blocking at the point of attack. They cave it in. He breaks to the outside, goes through a would-be tackler, makes a good move inside. But he's always going forward and knocks people forward instead of getting knocked back after he gets hit.
8 minutes to go in the first quarter. 3-0 Green Bay. First down for the Bucs.
Look at all the room on the left side.
Cobb up the middle. Cobb to the 34. Another 8-yard run.
See, that's the great thing about the I formation, in that you can start one. You're back there about 7.5 yards deep. And it's a great formation against teams that over pursue. And Cobb is a very good cutback runner. And I never forget years ago, I went to Southern California to see John McKay's team. He was a great exponent of the I formation. And of course, now everybody uses it because of what they used to see at Southern California with John.
Second down and 2. Stay with the hot running back, and Cobb falls short of the first by about a yard. Tripped by Matt Brock and Yurkovich. So it'll be 3rd and 1, and Tampa sets quickly. From the 33, McDowell is in the backfield along with Cobb.
Over that right guard, looks like a vulnerable spot.
They're running right. Cobb has the first down, and to the 26. Chuck Cecil held on. Otherwise, Cobb may have broken it. Holland also was in the area. Cobb over 40 yards rushing here in the opening quarter.
Watch him here now, going to the right side. He's got his head up. The only thing bad about it is he got the ball in the left arm. But it was good for distance.
And good for a first down. Reggie Cobb. Oh, look at the hit by Cecil. He'll put some of the best hits on you for anybody in the league.
Yeah, he's very deceptive, too. We talked to him yesterday. Looks like a little choir boy. But he's tough and a big hitter.
And a good golfer. Spent the bye week this season going on a golf junket back to Arizona. Played down in the Green Valley, south of Tucson. About a 4 handicap he sports. Second down and 7. McDowell is the only back. He'll run it for only the 5th time this season. McDowell carrying the football. He gets to the 20. And it'll be 3rd and about 4. It's a rookie from Texas Tech who was an 8th round pick. Sam Weiss says he's a comer.
Jim, I mentioned earlier about the no-huddle offense and also about the substitution situation. The Green Bay Packers are on this side of the field, so it's no problem with substitutions if they have to make them. But if they're down the other end of the field when they switch, then it'll be a problem.
3rd down and 4.
Look at the one-on-one you got in the left side. If he throws the ball, there it is.
Good fake. Throws across his body. Touchdown, Tampa Bay. Good pass to Mark Carrier. 20-yard touchdown.
Bootleg, play action, faking one way and going back. But that was the place to throw the football, is one-on-one. And he delivers it nicely. Watch this now. A fake to the right side. And then he comes back. See, look at the defense all taking a sniff of the fake. And the outside receiver comes back inside. Makes the catch. The ball is right on the money. Makes the catch for the touchdown.
And he beat Roland Mitchell, who had the interception earlier in this quarter. Eddie Murray with the extra point try. He's made 115 in a row. 116, and it's 7-3 Buccaneers. Impressive drive, mixing Cobb and the passing of Testaverde for the touchdown to Mark Carrier.
CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Toyota and their full line of quality cars and trucks. Toyota, I love what you do for me. Coors Light, the silver bullet. It's the right beer now. And by McDonald's. What you want is what you get. Guaranteed at McDonald's today.
You know, Hank, I think Packer fans know how to tailgate better than anybody in the league.
They get here early enough and they stay long enough. They ought to be very, very good at it.
The short kick run out to the 35-yard line by Yurkovich. Impressive set of hands on that one by the big fella. And we have a timeout on the field, official timeout with the Bucs in front.
Official timeout. Watching the National Football League on CBS Sports.
All right, here's a fake inside. Testaverde does a good job then rolling. 1-for-1 coverage on Mitchell to the outside into the post. And watch all these defensive men go with a fake inside and watch it pop open. Good fake. Look at the set. Look at all the defensive people coming over with a fake. And Carrier going into the post. Ball is right on target. Touchdown, Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
That was Carrier's 2nd touchdown of the season. Now Green Bay after the kick return to the 35. Trailing 7-3. 4 minutes to go in the first. There's Sterling Sharp for no gain. Carter on the coverage. Let's get an update in New York with Greg Gumbel.
Jim at Cleveland. Peter Tom Willis of the Bears making his first NFL start. You'll remember this one, the pass to the side picked off by Dave Brandon, and he will go 92 yards for the touchdown. They're still in the first quarter. The Browns leading Chicago 7-0. Jim.
Dave Brandon, Hank, you knew that family, didn't you?
Yeah, for a long time.
Brandon, his father played for you.
That's right.
2nd down and 10. And Favre fires it. Caught near the first down. Caught by Ron Lewis, the former 49er who was signed a week ago and made his first NFL start today.
He's got a gun. Favre has really a fastball here. Comes back for the ball. Good coverage really by Milton Mack, but the ball was thrown right at the numbers, and as a result, no way in the world that the defensive back Milton Mack can go through there and knock the ball down.
All right, Lewis's catch about a football away from a first down. It'll be 3rd and less than a yard. Lewis from Florida State played on the baseball team for the Seminoles along with Deion Sanders, and in fact played in the California Angels minor league organization for a while. Now it is 2nd pro year in the NFL. 3rd and a yard to go with 3 tight ends for the Packers. Harris joined by Ed West and Darrell Ingram.
Looks like they're going to run right.
They run it with Sidney, and that's enough for the first. Boy, we have another update. Let's get you right back to Greg.
All right, Jim, at RFK Stadium, Mark Rippon will find Barry Sanders. This is good for a 13-yard touchdown pass, and Brad Edwards has just returned a Rosenbach interception for another TD. So the Redskins have jumped out on top now 13-3 over the Cardinals, Jim.
All right, thank you, Greg. Good job on the updates. And the Redskins, they'll be watching that game closely in Wisconsin, as the Redskins have a 1-game lead over the Packers at the present time for the last wild card spot in the NFC. On first down, Favre to Sharp, and just another short gain for the NFL's leading receiver. Also leads the league in reception yardage with over 1,100 yards. And he's got quite a streak going, consecutive game streak with a reception. Now it's 67.
Floyd Peters is doing a good job so far of changing coverages. That time they were in the zone, and as a result, why they dumped the ball off for a very short gain on the play.
So it's 2nd and 8. Edgar Bennett is the lone back. 2 tight ends. Edgar Bennett running through traffic to the 46 of Tampa Bay. Tootie Robbins helped clear the way on the right side. Edgar Bennett looking pretty good, Hank. Last week 107 yards on 29 carries. Watch him here.
Yeah, watch it now. He's big. He's 6 foot, weighs about 222. You see there's no cut move opportunity there for him, and he knows that, and he goes right into the pile and moves it a little bit and picks up a nice gain in the play.
He was the first Green Bay rookie to get 100 yards in his first start in 34 years since Jim Taylor did it. 3rd and 2. Sharp will lose yardage. Ricky Reynolds wrapped him up. That's 3 catches on this drive for Sharp. Well, that one was for -5 yards.
And Reynolds probably will play Sharp all over the field wherever he goes. That time he was up there very close. I'm surprised he even threw the ball there, because he had no chance whatsoever to make the catch and then make yardage on the and run up the field on the play.
That was actually -5 yards on 3 receptions for Sharp. So Wagner is in the punt, and he gets off a spiral. Oh, that should have been fielded by Houck at the goal line. Wagner's sick about it, but Tampa Bay will bring it out to the 20 with a 7-3 lead. (7-3) Buccaneers on a 20-yard touchdown pass to Vinny Testaverde. And the Bucs start from their 20. Final minute of the first quarter. Reggie Cobb zigzagging for about 6. Noble on the stop.
There's an illustration, Jim, of a good back stretching a loss or no gain into a good gain with just excellent running, head up, eyes open, and making the right moves.
2nd and 4, and that play will take place at the other end at the start of the second quarter. Hey, Reggie Cobb with 53 yards rushing on 9 carries in the first 15 minutes. And that's the end of the first quarter with the score: Tampa Bay 7 and Green Bay 3. Over 50,000 at County Stadium. This unusual configuration for a football game with the low bleachers on the far side. Only 30% of the seats between the 30s. 2nd down and 4. The Bucs leading 7-3. To open the second quarter, Reggie Cobb, he slips short of the first. At the 29, he's 1 yard shy of the first.
That's the other counter trey play again. That time the right guard Beckles and also McRae, I should say, pulling on the play to the left side. Again, designed to go either inside or outside. He elected to go outside and would have made more yardage, except he slipped.
3rd and 1. Cobb, he slipped again. He slipped as he was trying to make a cut to the inside. He saw that Johnny Howland had shut off the area behind the right tackle, so the Bucs will punt.
See, when he's running to the right, see, and he's making that cut, that severe cut like he did that last play, he was cutting on the left foot, and actually had he cut on the right foot, he wouldn't have fallen like he did on that last play.
Dan Straczynski in the punt. He does not allow very much return yardage, but look out for Terrell Buckley. Kicks away from Buckley, and out of bounds at the 23-yard line is where they'll spot it. 49-yard punt with no return. Brett Favre made his Green Bay debut in week 2 against Tampa Bay when he came in relief of Mikowski. He's 4 for 5 so far. Nothing but of the short variety to this point, but he's completed in the last 4 games 64% of his passes, almost for 1,000 yards, and 3-1 record.
Interesting thing about that game, he threw a pass and caught it himself in that game. Remember that?
That was his first NFL pass. He threw to himself.
The old boomerang shot.
For a loss of 7 yards. But he is the future at Green Bay. And he gives to Bennett, who fights to get back to the line of scrimmage. McCants and Brownlow in on the hit. Very banged up defense for the Bucs, Hank, with Derek Brownlow starting for Calvin Tiggle. They also lost Ray Seals to an injury last week, so 2 starters out and others feeling rather bruised.
Yeah, they're playing like they're not hurting very much right now, and here's Floyd Peters on the sideline calling the plays. And of course, it's fun to talk to these coaches before the game because they're always very optimistic and positive about what's going to happen that particular afternoon.
2nd down and 10 from the 23. Play action, looking long, and over the hands of Ronald Lewis. I thought he might go for the deep receiver, Sterling Sharp, who appeared to have a step on his defender. Went back to Ron Lewis in his only his 2nd appearance in a Packer uniform.
And Carter covering on the play, number 23. A good selling job by the fake. All the time in the world to throw the ball. Sometimes that makes it tough for the quarterback. He's got so much time that he kind of steers the ball and overthrows this one. Look at the pass protection. The fake inside is good. Good individual fighting up front by the offensive line of the Green Bay Packers.
Sanjay Beach is in as a receiver for the Pack on 3rd and 10. Far throw, stepping up, incomplete, intended for Harris. That football was un-Favre-like, Hank, and that it was wobbling and took a long time to get there.
Well, that was a helicopter ball. That's the way they go. Sideways instead of spiral.
Brian Wagner playing for his 8th team in the last 8 years. Some of those teams were actually just tryouts. He was beaten out by Paul McJulian in the preseason. Now he replaces him as of 2 weeks ago. And that's another good one. Courtney Hawkins from the 33. And only gains about 2 yards on the run back. Corey Harris on the hit after a 45-yard punt. Bucs have the football and the lead in the 2nd quarter.
Official timeout.
This game summary is sponsored by Castrol.
Reggie Cobb has had a good start to this game. 5 yards a carry. Led them to a touchdown drive. A pass to Mark Carrier. Green Bay's points, a 34-yard field goal by Chris Jackie. So it's 7-3 Bucs. And Jim Nantz along with Hank Stram. What conclusions can you draw so far, Hank?
Well, you know, right now I think it's very obvious that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are controlling the football. And they're doing a good job of moving the football. And I'm surprised they're playing as well defensively with all the guys that got hurt. So it's a great compliment to Sam and the coaches for the kind of job they've done so far.
Tampa Bay 1st and 10 from its own 35. Play action and rolling out to the left to Ron Hall at the 50. That was a good pass play. Similar to the bootleg they scored on the touchdown. Scored with a touchdown in the first quarter. Hank, similar kind of design play. They fake the handoff.
Yeah, they fake. Look at the flow of the defensive linemen and also the linebackers. Look at all the room he's got. And there he is throwing a touchdown pass to Mark Carrier with man-for-man coverage on the play. And Mitchell, number 47, covering on that last play.
So after an 18-yard pass play into Green Bay territory, 1st down. Quickly ruled a trap. It hit the ground first. Intended for Dawsey. Second and 10. Reggie Cobb is hammered back at his own 48, hit first by Tony Bennett. So give some of that yardage back.
We see the surge on the left side, but look at the penetration on the defense. And there you see Bennett popping through there in good shape and making the initial hit on the play. He gets help from some pals on the inside, but Bennett is the guy that's created the problem with his penetration.
3rd down and 14.
One-on-one coverage. You ought to be able to do something here.
Steps up, hits Carrier. Carrier fumbles. And a lot of Green Bay players in the area. You have to think they have it. They do. That's the 2nd Tampa Bay turnover. Carrier was attempting to dive for the first. He knew he had to get to the 37. He would not have made it, but he turns it over at that spot, actually at the 41. Recovered by Terrell Buckley.
Here we see Carrier on the outside on a crossing pattern coming across there. Now here he makes the catch. Now he knows where he has to go for the 1st down, but as he leaps into the air, he gets hit on the backside, fumbles the ball, and now the Green Bay Packers have possession with good field position, 1st and 10.
Well, Green Bay has forced 2 turnovers, but the Packers trail in the 2nd quarter. Well, here's a little slice of life from Milwaukee.
Yeah, a little cheesehead there.
Tampa Bay 4-0 this year when leading after the 1st quarter. That was the case today, 7-3. 1st down pass play intended for Lewis, but hammered as he threw it was Favre. Hank, we just had a very pleasant surprise visit to our booth by a man I greatly admire, broadcasting true legend Ray Scott. Called so many of those outstanding Packer moments quarter of a century ago.
Yeah, and he did some of our games when I was at Kansas City, so he's the best.
They don't come any better. In fact, we'll call this next play like Ray Scott would have. Second down and 10 for the Packers. Favre to Brooks. Near a first down, Green Bay. I don't know. I got to work on that one, Hank. How did you like the reverse?
Good timing on the reverse. They fake inside and it goes outside. Look at Williams. It was caught way inside, but they all recovered nicely. They didn't get nearly as much play results out of the play as I thought they might when the play initially started.
I was hoping for an old Star to Dowler type call, but was not afforded the opportunity.
Well, you get McGee's here. I just saw Max a little while ago, so you get him in the act too.
3rd and 2, and Favre throws for the first to Harris. First down at the Tampa Bay 44. Jackie Harris trails only Novacek of the Cowboys in terms of receptions by a tight end in the National Football League.
Yeah, he came into the game with 42. That made 43.
And Ron Hall of Tampa Bay is 4th. For the Packers, that's only their 2nd first down of the game.
Well, they got man for man on the far side. Let's see if they do this.
Scrambling away from trouble and hitting Bennett. Bennett to the 20. Mark him out actually at the 22. Bumped out by Jimmy Williams. A run of 22.
See what they did. They double the flanker on the right side and had one-on-one on the left side. And so as a result, that was a vulnerable area, but he looks to the right and then rolls to the left. Good running down the sideline. Excellent running by Bennett down the far sideline, and he picks up a nice gain on the play.
4th round pick from Florida State.
Ball on the 22, first down.
Packers driving, trailing 7-3. Midway through the 2nd. Here is Bennett. A run of 2. Brownlow on the hit. Amazing thing about Edgar Bennett, he's reunited at Green Bay once again with Leroy Butler. They played high school football together, played at Florida State together, and now they're both Packers. In fact, a year ago when Edgar was still playing for Bobby Bowden and the Seminoles, he called Leroy up several times during the season and wanted to know, when are you guys going to win? And I'll bet it's cold up there, he used to joke with him, from Florida. And now he's wearing the green and gold on 2nd and 8. Green Bay from the 20. Favre. Boy, that pass had some heat on it. Went right through the hands of Ed West.
I couldn't tell how high that was, but here again, that kind of a pass in the middle area. See, it's above his head, right about head high, and if you don't get the hands up fast and you don't catch that ball, it's right over the top, and a lot of times the old tipping drill prevails and it winds up being an interception. You throw the ball in the middle, you better throw it below the neck.
So it's 3rd and 8. Sharp at the 16 and short of the first. About 4 yards shy of the first. Jimmy Williams on the tackle. So Chris Jackie will come in for his 2nd field goal try of the day. He connected from 34 yards out in the first quarter. First one was from 34. This is from 33 yards. Mikowski on the hold, and Jackie is 2 for 2. 7-6 Bucs. 6:37 before halftime.
Until now, some looked abroad for a high-performance luxury automobile.
Sam Weish and the Bucs have given up 2 field goals. Both of Green Bay's scores have come after turnovers. But Tampa Bay leads 7-6.
Sam's on the sideline counting the players, make sure he's only got 11.
That kick is out of bounds, and they'll bring it out to the 35. Doubleheader day on CBS, and coming up next, most of you will see the Philadelphia Eagles at San Francisco. Important game for the Eagles and that chase in the NFC East. Trying to keep pace with the Cowboys, who won on Thanksgiving Day. They win today, they'll still be 2 games back. Tampa Bay's first 4 possessions: interception that led to a field goal, a touchdown, a punt, and a fumble that led to a field goal. From the 35. Flooding the right side.
Yeah, triple wing on the right side. They're going to all scatter. Let's see what happens here.
In traffic, incomplete. Holland and Butler on the hit. Pass intended for Carrier. Carrier's next catch will be the 300th reception of his career. Pro Bowler back in 1989. Second and 10. Carrier comes to the left side along with Courtney Hawkins. Dawsey is to the right. Cobb scrambles for about 5. Where Cecil gets credit for the tackle.
Cobb runs with a very good lean, and most of the time his shoulders are always square, so he's able to deliver a good blow. He gives the blow rather than accepts the blow from the tackler.
3rd down and 6. This game moving along rather quickly. Testaverde will run for it and will not get it. Alfred Oglesby stopped him 3 yards shy of the first.
It looked like he hesitated for a moment as he started to make his decision to go outside, and then when he finally did decide to take the run, why, I think he was a little bit late, and it looked like he got a little gimpy knee on the play. I asked him before the game how his knee felt. He said it was fine, but he could still tell that it was a little sore. But watch this. See, there was a little delay there, but he was trying to fake out the would-be tackler to get more yardage on the play.
Straczynski. High punt, fair catch. Fumbled at the 27. And the Buck players pointing in the wrong direction. There you go. Somebody better tell Roger Jones they're going the other way. But it's recovered by the Bucs as Chuck Cecil fumbled. You know, Terrell Buckley had dropped 6 of them this year, Hank, so they put Cecil back with Buckley, and Chuck couldn't hold on.
Well, they put him back there for the express reason of making sure that he would be back there and make the catch, you see. But he doesn't make the catch. It's fumbled, and the Bucs recover. They have good field position, 1st and 10. And the important thing now is they've got to take advantage of this good field position opportunity.
That was recovered by the snapper, Ed Brady.
Look at the bump and run on the outside.
Oh, what a pounding hit at the line of scrimmage. Noble on Cobb.
They had a lot of guys, a lot of folks on the line of scrimmage that time, Jim, and it was very, very difficult to make any yardage on that kind of a run. Here's a counter play with a right guard and a right tackle pulling on the play. See, he tries to get inside on the play and is tackled there by Ryan Noble, number 91, right about the time he got into the hole.
4:20 remaining in the first half. 7-6 Tampa Bay. Second down and 10. Good fake to Cobb. The pass. Intercepted. Chuck Cecil got it back. He fumbled 2 plays ago, and this time he catches the ball on the rebound. Deflected by Butler. The pass was underthrown, and Cecil comes up with his second interception of the season. Had one last week, too.
Excuse me, Jim. Pretty good coverage on the play. Look at this now. You can't cover it any better than that. Butler tips the ball up into the air, and Cecil very alertly makes the interception.
A look behind the scenes as sports and science converge, brought to you by AT&T. The U.S. Olympic bobsled team is constantly seeking new ways to improve. A new composite sled may help them reach that goal. Syracuse University art professor Jerry Malinowski has designed an aerodynamic sled that is specifically tailored to fit the athletes and drastically reduces drag. In recent wind tunnel tests, the Malinowski sled was shown to be 10% faster than any other sled tested.
Chuck Cecil comes up with Green Bay's second interception of the first half. They also have recovered a fumble. He says if we're not motivated by looking at the first Tampa Bay game on film, the one they lost 31-3, then you don't have a pulse. Vinny has thrown a touchdown, but also 2 interceptions. So Green Bay takes over from the 4 with 4 minutes to go in the second quarter. Trailing 7-6. Favre gets a little room as he connects with Ron Lewis.
Lewis on the reception. Second and 1.
Second down and about a yard coming up for Green Bay.
See if he throws a play action here. This is deep in his own territory, but if they're far enough along offensively, he might do something like that. Still got another down to get the yard. Let's see. There it is, boys.
Edgar Bennett
runs it right straight ahead.
That should be enough for the first.
Yep.
Mark Wheeler on the tackle.
Both teams are really taking a strong whiff of what's happening inside on a fake to the fullback in the middle. They're reacting very quickly to what they see as a result. The bootleg patterns can be very effective, just like they have been on a couple of occasions for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Trying to keep their hands warm. They're all holding hands in a huddle there. Did you notice that?
Is that what that is? Did you start that?
No.
Did your team ever do that?
No.
First and 10. Across the middle. Sidney. That's another first. Out to the 27. 12-yard play.
First down.
The other thing I never liked to see was somebody getting hit and then you try to help them back up.
Edgar Bennett to the 35. That'll bring us to the 2-minute warning. Jimmy Williams stops him about 2 yards short of the first. 2 minutes to go in the first half, and Tampa Bay holds a slim 7-6 lead.
Blue. A color that reached for the sky and got it. Dignified. Versatile. Always proper. Blue. The color of choice for every ocean and Royal Navy. And nobody does blue like Dockers.
Well, a Thanksgiving tradition in the NFL continued on Wednesday. The great turkey heist, where a couple of rookies are set up, supposedly getting free turkeys.
Yeah.
You gonna pay check or? Huh? You gonna pay check or cash? You supposed to pay for these? Yeah, that's why I couldn't believe all these linemen talked you into getting there.
No, you're supposed to get these for free.
No, it just said pick up. It didn't say anything about free. I can't believe you guys got bamboozled.
Well, a couple of Green Bay rookies falling for it. And they got the bad news from Jeff Blum from the Packers PR staff. 2nd and 2. And that's good for a first. Only a 3-yard gain to Bennett. Did you guys pull the old turkey heist, Hank, at Kansas City?
Yeah, that's right. And every year they took a big whiff.
They tell them to go down and get their free turkey, and they find out.
Oh, sure.
Why would your players? Did you not let them pick up the other team?
And the funny thing about it was a lot of them went back about 6 years in a row.
Marty Carter on the tackle of Harry Sidney, and a timeout call. Why would you not allow your players to pick up the opponent?
Oh, only because I think they're supposed to knock them down, not pick them up.
Sounds right to me. Well, Green Bay using its first timeout with 1:28 to go. Brett Favre, Hank, for Coach Mike Holmgren, has hit his last 6 pass attempts.
Yeah, they're all kind of dink and dunk passes, but they're moving the ball with it and taking advantage of the zone defenses that are being shown by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They're taking a skateboard now. Sometimes the bus, but never the jet, not with the way the defense is playing.
2nd down play to Sharp. He has the first and out of bounds to stop the clock right at the 50. Keith McCants bumped him out. Coming up at halftime, Greg and Terry will have all the scores and highlights from the early set of games. Matt Millen is in the studio with him this week. First down from the 50. Another short dump off. Sidney has it in the middle of the field. A 5-yard gain. Smacked by Thomas and Carter. Green Bay has 2 timeouts in its pocket. And the play is ruled dead.
False start. Number 52 on the offense prior to the snap. 5-yard penalty. Still 2nd down.
Bernie Kukar is our referee today, and it's been a pretty clean game to this point, Hank. No need to really hear from the officials so far.
Yeah, except for the turnovers, it's really been a good game.
It's only the 2nd penalty of the game. 1:01 to go in the first half. 2nd and 10. Pump fake by Favre. Now he airs it out, looking for Lewis, and not even close. Threw it away. Milton Mack on the coverage. We'll set up 3rd and 10 with 54 seconds to go in the 2nd quarter.
Sometimes, you know, when you get this kind of coverage, you're so concerned about being patient, which is very important, but you never force the defense to stretch it a little bit and try to go deep. And even though it's a zone defense, even though once you get into the area of the zone, then it becomes man for man anyhow. So you got to sometimes try to get up on top just to get some vertical stretch. Plus the fact there's always a chance you get pass interference on a long pass.
10th play of the drive coming up for Green Bay on 3rd and 10. Sterling Sharp needs to make a move for the first. I think he may have done it. Caught the ball at about the 42. Had to get to the 40, and they spot it just inside of the 40. That's good enough for the first.
One thing that's very important with a young quarterback, especially with a strong gun like Favre has, to teach him how to be patient. He's got to take what the defense gives him, and this is exactly what he's doing right now. He's patiently moving the ball down the field with a forward pass with short passes.
Sterling Sharp needed 5 receptions today for an NFL record. Most receptions in your first 5 years. He has 6 now, breaking Roger Craig's record. 1st and 10, and Ronald Lewis at the 12. And Favre showing some savvy as he calls the quick timeout with 40 seconds to go in the quarter.
You talk about a rope. That was a rope.
So they're set up at the 13 with 40 seconds to go in the half. Well, Sterling Sharp with a couple of receptions on this drive for first downs. And again, he just set the record in this quarter for most receptions your first 5 years in the league, breaking Roger Craig's mark. And Ron Lewis caught the pass to the 13. Makes a nice combination with Mr. Sharp. 27 yards to Lewis, his career long. And on first down, another pump fake, and short they go to Bennett. And a good tackle by Jones. Excellent play by Roger Jones. And Green Bay has only 1 timeout to go. And the clock running. That'll stop the clock. It'll be 3rd down, 22 seconds before the half. Trailing 7-6. Mike Holmgren doing a terrific job in his first year. The longtime 49er assistant coach at BYU. They won the national championship in 1984. 3rd down and 9.
You got bump and run. Soft coverage on the left side.
Batted down. Joe King batted it away from Ed West. So the Packers will have to rely on Chris Jackie one more time. This time he could give them the lead.
King, good anticipation. Watch him come into the picture and knock the ball down. Good defense on the part of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They got to feel good about just allowing an opportunity to make 3 instead of giving up another 6 or 7.
Jackie has been good from 34 and 33 yards. This one a mere 29 for the lead. Chris Jackie is 3 for 3. Green Bay leads 9-7. There's Mike Holmgren. Another look at the former quarterback at USC. I don't know if many people realize that, but he quarterbacked at USC between Jimmy Jones and Mike Ray and was drafted by St. Louis. Never played in the league. He got cut. And here's the turnaround. Offensively, yards per game up, pass per game up, rushing yards per game percentage, and time of possession, Hank, is #1 in the league.
Yeah, but look at that completion percentage, 64%. That's really incredible, but it's typical of the way the San Francisco 49er offense, the passing game especially, has always worked so efficiently because they take what's being given to them, and they're very patient, and that's what this young team is learning how to do.
This game is presented by authority of the National Football League, and the CBS telecast is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of CBS, the Green Bay Packers, and Hank Stram and the National Football League is prohibited.
They'll probably kick a Humpty Dumpty ball here. Let's see what they do.
I guess that's what you call a Humpty Dumpty ball there, huh?
As long as it doesn't go up in the air, it's a Humpty Dumpty ball. Yep.
Tim Ryan scooped it up to the 34. 10 seconds to go in the half. Tim Ryan doubling as the backup center and a third-team tight end. See if there is any...
Well, it's been a fast-paced game, hasn't it?
Really has. And let's watch the Bucs now in the last 10 seconds. content to run it with Cobb, and he adds 7 yards to his stats to bring us to halftime. So that's the end of the first half with the score: Green Bay 9, Tampa Bay 7.
CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Cadillac, changing the way you think about American automobiles. HP LaserJet printers. If it isn't a LaserJet, it's only a laser printer. And by the wines of Ernest and Julio Gallo.
Anyone who says it's not whether you win or lose, it's how you play the game, doesn't understand the game. Because when even one child loses interest in school, we all lose. We all lose. And we can't afford that. The National Football League wants to help make learning fun. The big idea is in the cards. The FACT program is based on the fun kids have with football trading cards. Sets of cards and other materials are sent directly to schools. They feature players and pose challenging questions.
Who can define
self-esteem? Self-esteem.
Eduardo? Self-esteem is to feel good about yourself, respecting and believing in yourself.
That's fact. Because when it comes to learning, these guys play to win. Football and academics, a championship team.
The NFL Today Dockers Halftime Report is sponsored by Levi's Dockers. Nobody does color like Dockers.
And welcome, everyone. Those of you who have been watching Tampa Bay and Green Bay, Greg Gumbel, Terry Bradshaw, Matt Millen, as we take a look at the scores and highlights from the first half of the game you're watching. The Green Bay Packers by 2 over Tampa Bay at halftime. Reggie Cobb, 56 yards rushing in the first half, but Green Bay has the edge as they take a break in Milwaukee. At RFK Stadium in Washington, the Redskins are leading the Phoenix Cardinals 17-3 as they are inside of a minute to play in that game. Mark Rippon to Ricky Sanders.
Normally a lot of zone, but this looks like a man-to-man matchup, play action, crossing route, Sanders wide open.
And then Tim Rosenbaugh's big mistake.
Yeah, well, if you want to be a free safety, you need to get in that zone and let everything happen in front of you, break on the ball, and take it back.
Brad Edwards, 52 yards for the touchdown. They added a field goal from that point. It is now 17-3 with just 3 seconds to play, and Washington is inside the Phoenix 10-yard line. But the Phoenix Cardinals, this is no cinch victory for the Redskins.
If you go back to the first game between these two teams, the Redskins go in the locker room, have a 16-0 lead, and then in the fourth quarter, Robert Massey intercepts 2 passes and brings them all the way back. But who knows what could happen? But I would certainly not count out the Cardinals at all.
Yeah, and the Redskins, of course, still having troubles, although their offense has gotten a touchdown.
Yeah, well, you know, they've thrown a couple of wrinkles in now. They're having problems with the offensive line, so now you roll your quarterback out, you wait for Sanders to come across, boom. Hit it. Now, Bradshaw never saw that, see, because the game's changed since he was there last.
And they have reached halftime at RFK, and Chip Lohmiller has added a field goal. It is now a 20-3 Washington lead at halftime. At the Superdome in New Orleans, they're also at halftime. The Dolphins and the Saints are tied at 7 apiece. At Cincinnati, David Klingler is his first NFL start for the Bengals. He's been sacked 5 times in the first half. And at the break at Riverfront Stadium, the Steelers are leading Cincinnati 14-6. At the Dog Pound in Cleveland, the Browns with a 13-0 lead on the Chicago Bears. Dog Pound is no place for Bears, and Peter Tom Willis, no place to throw one if you're a rookie.
Oh, say it ain't so, Peter. You can't throw the ball that late into the flat and not expect David Brandon to be there. Picks it off, goes the distance, big old thick-legged guy, and he makes it all the way.
92-yard return for the touchdown, and the Browns are leading at 13-0 at halftime. New York is trailing Kansas City by 6 at the break at the Meadowlands. 2 field goals. Ken O'Brien has injured his right thumb. He started at quarterback. Browning Nagel has come on for New York. And the Atlanta Falcons frustrating the Patriots in their quest for a 3rd straight win. Atlanta leads it 24-0. A reminder, this is a doubleheader day here on CBS. Coming up, most of you will see the Eagles invade Candlestick to challenge the 49ers. San Francisco can earn at least a wild-card playoff berth by winning today. Some of you will see the Vikings visit the Rams in our other doubleheader game. Minnesota can clinch the NFC Central title with a victory and a Green Bay loss to Tampa Bay. Now, despite his team's apparent success, Minnesota head coach Dennis Green is shaking up his offense and has benched starting quarterback Rich Gannon today after 2 subpar games and given longtime backup Sean Salisbury his first NFL start.
He's been very supportive. We haven't talked much just because as you roll on in the week, you've got to get yourself prepared. But I know it stings, but he's also a professional, and he'll handle it fine.
We got very high expectations for this football team, and we're not going to be a team that has one phase of the game that's at least not doing its best. It doesn't mean that the quarterback, it's not a quarterback problem. I think our whole offense is not in sync, and I think sometimes a change in chemistry will help.
Dennis Green showing him who's boss in Minnesota?
Yeah, I think what's happened is that the benching of Rich Gannon is Rich Gannon got above his raisin. He got out of that boat that Dennis Green likes to keep those players in and act like a family. And Rich got a little too cocky, a little too much success. And Green says, we're not going to have that around here. We'll sit you down. I'm going to let this other boy come in here and play a little bit, and then I'm going to put you back in there. You know, providing you prove to me that you're part of the family again. So I think it's just one of those little get you attention type things.
All right, Terry, time to send you back to the stadium and the game you're watching on CBS after this word from your local station.
Chris Jackie with 3 field goals in the first half, and the Packers lead the Bucs 9-7. We'll get set for the second half when we continue in a moment.